if there was a video topic I would want to talk about, it is this one. Loneliness is a part of my life that keeps coming back, really, and doesn't want to go away. It started since COVID, but it has remained even until now. I know a lot of people go through the same thing, and it's not really the same people, it's more like men specifically go through it. We all have heard of the male loneliness epidemic. I'm going to go into full details as to what this is about, what it means, and how maybe you can solve this grand issue that everyone has been inflicted by. I want to talk about first, what is it to be lonely? So I'm going to point out a few pointers here, but here's the thing. We're more connected than ever, supposedly. You know, there's social media everywhere, and we all have Instagram, Discord, TikTok, Snapchat, Messenger, and, well, YouTube. Here's another one. We are all lonely, and the reason is because even though we have communication, there is no real connection. We don't really care who we're talking about or to, or if we really know them, or what they need, or what they want, what they're interested in. It is all very superficial. That's how our relationships have become, and this has led us to become more lonely, more selfish, and we don't really care what the other person's problems are. As a result of that, the other person doesn't care about our problems, thus we become disconnected with each other. Something very key I need to note is that loneliness isn't being alone. You can be in a crowd of people and feel like you're the most lonely person in the world, and I've got many experiences in this topic. You can be with friends and you'll feel lonely. You can be with anyone and you will feel lonely. It's not about being on your own. It's not about being locked away in a room, which I have throughout these past 5 years. I've been pretty much locked away. Yes, that is loneliness, but it's not just that, because even though I've had the worst experience, like being alone and being locked away in my room, that is not the loneliest I have felt. The loneliest was when I was with friends and I felt like I didn't exist. And I know a lot of people go through this where they're kind of left out of key discussions and you don't feel like you belong there. Like people are kind of isolating you out. And it's not just that, it's like even in big crowds, you go to a function or some other party, and you're just kind of sitting on the side wondering, what the hell am I doing here? Like, why did I even bother coming? It's because you don't enjoy it, and other people brought you along because, well, they thought that you would enjoy the same things that they do. But of course, because of what I was talking about earlier, selfishness, people don't really know the other person. They don't connect as well, and so they don't know what you actually want to do and what you enjoy. Thus, they just bring you along, and in the end, you feel really bad because you're not enjoying what you are participating in. Key words I want to point out is that you don't feel understood and you don't feel valued. You don't belong is what I mean. Bringing back social media into the conversation, social media has created a lot of comparisons. You compare yourself to another person much more than what you would in the past. You think that because someone has something that you don't have, that you're worse than them. And you feel lonely because you feel like you aren't as good as the other person. You might see happy couples, you might see friend groups, you might see people going on vacations, you might see parties, and you feel like, well, I'm left out of all this, and everyone has a better life than me, you might think. And comparing yourself to everyday life to someone else will leave you really depressed and very lonely. Unfortunately, I also do this. I do see people posting vacations and parties and stuff like that. And although I don't feel like I'm missing out because I know what it's all about, it kind of does bother me at the back of my head. Not that I want to do what they're doing, it's just that I kind of want them to not do what they are doing, just so I don't feel left out. And in a way, it kind of sounds bad. I don't want the other person to be happy. But here's the thing. When you're being brought down, you kind of want the other person to be down there with you, just so that they understand what you feel. Now, I'm not saying I want the other person to be down where I am, because I'm not down. I don't feel down. But, share my misery is what they say. I also want to talk about something I actually have a lot of, and that is shallow friendships. So what this means is you talk to a few guys and you kind of consider them friends, but you wouldn't go out with them. You just hang around at some sort of activity. I'm talking about guys I meet at the gym, but I'm not really friends with them. I am with one, maybe, if I can even consider that. And you don't really form true depth in the friendship. You kind of have at the back of your head that, oh, he's going to leave eventually as well, because you probably have had other friends leave, and you're probably not going to put in the same amount of effort that you used to. And so you just kind of have him as they're here for now, some company, but not really. So what the result is, that is you feel lonely because you might have a lot of people that you can talk to, but none of them you would ever like call some sort of crisis or need help from, or need just to talk to them in a more deep conversation. Not like you never will do that. Something else I want to point out is that vulnerability with other people has kinda become more difficult. You don't open yourself. This is leading from the previous point that you don't open yourself to other people, and besides just friends, you don't really open yourself to anyone else. And so lack of vulnerability leads to loneliness because you don't open up, you just kind of hide away everything, and it kind of repels other people. Now, something else I'm personally very guilty of is independence. Independence is basically being reliable on only you. You don't need anyone else to leech off of. And in a way, I'm not fully independent, but I don't really need anyone else. But that is a problem because that will lead you to isolation unless you've got a partner. The bigger issue here is that you become independent because you don't want to rely on anyone. You don't trust anyone. You don't need anyone. You just rather stay alone. But although it is valuable, you become isolated and you can't really create relationships and meaningful relationships by being alone in a room, stuck by yourself, calling yourself independent. I'm going to measure now some counterpoints that I have here and some things that you might want to think about. So something I want to say is that loneliness changes the way you think, and I can definitely say that about myself. You literally just don't want to be with anyone. You just kind of observe from the outside. You don't really interact. You don't become a part of anything, and you're just on the outskirts and you just watch as everyone else is doing stuff. And you do pick out a lot of things, and you do pick up things that you want to avoid for yourself. A lot of negative things, in fact. And these things that you pick out, negative things, you don't want them a part of your life. And so because of that, you just kind of isolate yourself because you don't want to deal with it. And I'm guilty of this 100%. I'm pointing it out in the video, and you might say, well, why don't you follow your own advice? And that is a good point. But I can't. I have seen too much shit to go back to the way I was. You withdraw further than you realize once you observe what's going on in the world. You assume others aren't interested in you. You just stop reaching out because you expect rejection. You don't see the point because you know that most likely it won't be the outcome you want. And this reinforces itself. You reinforce your loneliness. You can't really escape it because you've barricaded yourself within your own walls. The other thing is that I personally am fairly busy. I can't say I'm going over the moon, but there's a lot of people that are busy and they kind of hide the fact that they're lonely because they constantly occupy themselves with either something important like work or who knows what, like studies or spending quality time here and there, or with just crap like, I don't know, watching Netflix or YouTube or scrolling or doing some other stupid activity or a waste of time. And you call it busy, but you're obviously not. You do this stuff to avoid the reality that you are no longer connected with anyone else. Now, I want to talk about ways of improving you being lonely. Being alone can be peaceful. Feeling unseen, though, is painful. I want to begin by saying that to escape being lonely, it's not just about connecting with people. It's just you need a purpose. You need a goal. You need a will to keep living, because I know where loneliness ends up in the end. And I just want to say that it is a huge struggle, and even me saying trying to find a solution, I really am digging deep to find a solution because it is so difficult to escape it. I suggest personally that try to find more personal connections. Try to find something that you're interested in and pursue it to the full extent. And by pursuing it, you find other people that are passionate on the same topic of what you're pursuing. And this interest that you might have with another person could lead to either friendship or relationship, depending on the gender. This is where you should begin. I think finding a goal and pursuing something is where it will stop and break the cycle of loneliness. You need to find it within you to pursue something. Another thing I want to point out is get off your phone. Get off social media. Stop looking at what others are doing. That is literally a parasite. That is the worst thing you could possibly do. Don't care what your classmates from high school once did or are doing currently. Who's hooking up with who's in a relationship, who's married. Don't give a damn. Look at yourself. Look at what path you're on, what you're supposed to do, how you should find success. Do not care who's doing what. That is a big turnoff. It will demotivate you and it will make you feel depressed and it will continue making you lonely. The other thing is stop trying to get a girlfriend. I know it sounds kinda like counterintuitive and it sounds like it should be the opposite, but listen, getting a girlfriend is not a simple procedure. You don't just get a girlfriend. I mean, technically you could, but here's the thing. If you want a meaningful relationship with a girl and you want the right one, going along a path that you want to go on will get you to her eventually one way or another. Thinking that you being alone, being single is a bad thing. No, it should give you motivation and it should hook you up to the future. Now, the other thing I want to point out is to not feel lonely. Do a hobby. Go join the gym or do some other sport or maybe look into stuff that you might be interested in and do it. I personally have, yes, like I mentioned earlier, that I have hollow friendships with other people. Yeah, I agree, but at the same time, I met some really good guys there, and whenever I go to the gym, I don't really feel lonely because I'm talking to many people, and it's actually built me confidence, and I can actually talk a lot more freely. And although I do kind of feel lonely afterwards, like everyone goes their separate ways and nobody really talks after that until we meet again in the gym, at least in that moment, I've got something. And it gives me a bit of motivation to continue, you know. We pick ourselves up, even though the conversations might be shallow. We might crack a joke, laugh a little bit, and move on. It is better than nothing. Trust me. I want to mention one final thing before I go. Do not force yourself to do stuff that you do not want to do for the sake of meeting people. If you hate going to clubs, don't go to clubs. If you hate going to cafeterias, don't go to cafeterias. If you hate going to, I don't know, the beach or some sort of bar, anything, don't force yourself to do it. Do not force yourself to do something for the sake of meeting people. You will feel even worse than what you initially did. Because instead of being alone in your room, surrounded by walls, you'll be alone in the middle of a room, surrounded by people. And that is possibly far worse because you see the potential and you are nowhere near it. That is all for today from me. Make sure to subscribe if you enjoyed it. And I'll see you in the next video, chat. Have a good one.